A little over a year ago, we launched ZLife as an advisor portal, as a servicing portal for our advisors. And as much as it was great that it was mobile friendly, certainly mobile responsive, and advisors could use that on their phones and tablets, we thought that it would deliver a better experience if we actually moved to mobile native, so advisors could get a speedier, a more efficient system on mobile. You're a little bit more demanding with an app than you are when you go to a desktop. But what we did before we went into development was queried a number of advisors with what was most important. It was pretty clear to us that people using ZLife were largely in an office, not so much on the go. And so we asked advisors about what they'd want when they were out and about on their phones. And so we have tried to deliver a slightly different experience. We've certainly tried to make it a little bit more contextual, give advisors the option to say what it is that they'd like to be notified about. But you can access all the information through the app that you can at a desktop. It's just the way that you access the information. We all like to go to apps when they're going to deliver a faster, more seamless experience. So I think it's a common thing in the population. I don't think anyone would question that it's beneficial to have an app as long as it does provide the experience. The challenge for us was whether that was really relevant for what we're delivering. And what was clear to us is that just delivering the same experience online to a mobile app wasn't going to be what was important or relevant. So we have tried to be a little bit more careful and be more insightful with what we've brought and tried to deliver for that demand when advisors want to go to an app for the information, to deliver them an app-based experience, one that is efficient, delivers the speed, and can do things like use a PIN code to access, which isn't necessarily as easy with desktop apps. We're definitely seeing advisors embracing apps for use with their clients, not so much apps that perhaps they're developing themselves. There is demand for us to deliver more speed, more efficiency in what we bring to them, for tools, for resources. There's a lot of pressure with advisors, whether it's regulatory, just general business pressures to become more efficient. And so if you can use apps through that process, whether they be desktop-based apps or apps that are on your mobile to help communicate with clients, I think advisors do see that value. Sometimes we just need to help predict what those needs are. It might not necessarily be so obvious. No, the research that we've seen so far is that it's quite uncommon. In fact, most advisors haven't even made their websites mobile friendly. And so there is a lot of work to do, and we're trying to help through communication and education process with advisors to move forward. I mean, Google gives priority to sites that are more mobile friendly. So if you're not thinking about mobile for your website, then you're missing something. And then taking that to app, I think, just like we're trying to help deliver a better experience with advisors that we deal with in our day-to-day workings, in a similar way, advisors are going to want to deal with their clients in a way that makes it more efficient, effective for clients, more engaging. And so there is an expectation of more than just a login on a website. I think moving to an app-based service is valuable. We've seen that delivered largely by platforms, but not so much individual advisors providing apps for their customers to access their information. Well, what's interesting, I think, for us is this is just a first step in bringing mobile to the advisor relationship. ZLife for us is largely a service portal, and so it's helping to bring the right information to advisors and support staff around servicing existing policies or applications that are going through the process. And so that's what ZLife is largely about. With mobile, we've tried to deliver it as an improved and speedy experience in multiple, in different environments. What that's doing then is giving us the platform, to move forward. So from being a service portal, we really want to start to become more of an engagement and education portal, and in fact a retention and business generation portal. So we want to be able to help advisors see opportunities with existing customers, do a better job at delivering notifications to them about what matters, when it matters. And so this is a step in that plan for us to make their relationship a lot more wholesome and deliver a lot more effectiveness for advisors. I don't think so much that digital will transform advice on the whole. I think what digital is allowing are changes or transformations of parts of the advice journey and what's being delivered to customers. And so you see the term robo-advice, and we see the use of apps and different services around. But I think there is still a lot of value, first of all, in that the human side of what's provided in advice. I think the trick or the challenge at hand for us is to help deliver that in a more automated, a more efficient way. So use of tools in that client journey that are digital will absolutely transform the experience, but I don't think they'll transform what's being delivered, which is advice to an individual relevant for their needs as they move forward in their life. And as I've said, the pressure on advisors is immense. It's things aren't necessarily getting easier in their businesses. So we need to help to make the relationships more seamless and with their clients, make the process of doing business easier and delivering along the way. And so I think we can absolutely transform elements of the process, but on the whole, I don't think the fundamentals are changing that much. A number of advisors are doing a very good job at using technology well in their practice. There is a lot of opportunity for internal efficiencies. There's certainly a number of providers that help with CRM and workflow management in practice. But even then, you don't see all practices using that sort of technology. And there's a lot of cloud-based software as a service technology that's around to help that. So we do see that. I think there's much in the way of tools that could better help advisors, but it's quite inconsistent with what you see around the marketplace. I think there is a lot of opportunity to go forward and to become more efficient, to have more integrated tools in the process. I think fortunately in Australia we're in a pretty good place. We've got some very good vendors across the industry that help advisors do a good job in their practices. As life companies, we need to lift our game a little in that value chain and try to do a little bit more to help with the efficiency and make the flow more seamless for advisors, for what they do with clients. And even as we look forward to say, well, what about the low-touch clients, those ones that either are unaffordable to provide a high level of service or don't want the high level of service? We as an industry need to make that as effective and efficient as possible to be able to deliver a high level of service in a low-effort way. And so the use of digital can absolutely help in that way. Help in better delivery of education and information to clients, and in the ways that clients can service themselves. Provide more options for clients to be able to either self-fulfill, conduct their own process themselves, or do things like change address themselves. There's things where you shouldn't need human intervention, and we need to do a better job at lifting our game and enabling that.